Welcome to the Batman experience called Batman Unmasked, as you can see here. And here we're gathering in Wayne Manor to go through to, well, hopefully through a secret passage and somewhere into the Batcave, where a lot of the things from all the Batman movies are on display. So when you go into the Batcave, one of the first things you come across is this, the Batpod. And with the Batpod, they actually reckon the value of it is somewhere between £1 and £2 million. And it's actually a proper working motorbike with a Honda engine on it. So it was actually used in the movies by Christian Bale. Now, interestingly enough, the whole exhibition is underground, so actually you start to feel the vibes. And also, of course, the darkness helps quite considerably. Now, one of the things that you can see here, and you can see as you go around, is a lot of the things they have on exhibition are literally just behind a little rope, so you can get very, very close to them. But of course, you are asked not to do any touching. But don't worry, a number of the things are hidden behind. So the great thing about the Batman Unmasked, and it's celebrating 85 years of Batman itself, is that you not only can you get up close and personal, but you can see a lot of the things that were used in the films, and a lot of these are the original props used in any of the films, right from the first ever Batman starring Michael Keaton right up to the most recent one, The Batman, which was out in 2022. Now, before anyone asks, no, there's nothing from the Adam West days. And if you remember that, you're as old as I am. Yes, walking up the side of buildings with dodgy backgrounds. The exhibition itself opened, about 2 weeks ago, so it's very, very recent, and it's in the same place where originally they had the James Bond exhibition, and it's taken over from the recent Harry Potter one, which funnily enough we featured here. Now, the location is literally just around the corner from Covent Garden, and it's down in the basement underneath the London Transport Museum, so that gives you an idea. And when you finish, you come up right into the middle of the Covent Garden Piazza, right by London Transport Museum, so that gives you an idea of where it is. So they've got some of the great props from some of the movies, and also in some of the areas they've got some interactive areas as well, where you can stop and it's sort of timed, and we'll show you a little bit of those as we go through. The idea of this video is not to show you everything from the Batman experience, and the reason for that is we want you to come down and have a look for yourself, especially if you're coming to London. So it's great seeing the props, but for me it was these things. Yes, the original suits that were worn. Now, this one was worn in one of the first Batman movies with Michael Keaton and had very, very limited movement. In fact, if you watch the movie, I thought it was his acting, but apparently it wasn't. And then you've got this one, which was used by Christian Bale. Now, part of the iconic costume has got to be the Bat Belt, and here a number of iterations from them. And as you can see, the top one was from the original Batman movie, and as you go through, you've got all different types. While the Bat Belt was one of the iconic parts of the Bat suit, of course, no one knew who Batman's real identity was. And the reason for that? It had to be, yes, the mask. And here you have different iterations of the mask as it goes through. And I looked at these at first and I thought, wow, that's big holes. And of course, you've got the whole chin, you've got the mouth aspect there as well to enable talking. So that was great, but this has got to be one of my favourites from the most recent of the Batman films, called The Batman, which is where it sort of scales back and goes back. And that's again from 2022, as worn by Robert Pattinson. And how about this one? Right, so if you're thinking, where is it? This is from the Lego Batman movie. They've even included that from 2017. Yes, the Batman mask from that. So here you've got more props from the different movies as well, including sort of all sorts of, there you go, the stuff that goes round the arms as well. And how about that for a rucksack? Not only does it look uncomfortable, but I don't know about you, but I don't think you're going to get your sandwiches in that, do you? So, this exhibition, as I said at the beginning, celebrates 85 years of Batman first appearing in a comic, and there's a little bit of history about that as well. Now, also as you go round, you've got lots of different TV screens showing different clips from some of the different movies, so you can catch that as well. So it's really good selection for everyone to keep everyone entertained, however big a Batman fan you are. And this Batsuit was from the 2022 film. Also, what I love about the exhibition as well is they limit the number of tickets available, so everyone can enjoy the experience, but it's not absolutely crushed. And you could see that right at the beginning when we were in the Bruce Wayne Manor Library before you went in. And there, the tickets that we got were the last ones that were available at the time. Now, this is part of the interactive bit. You get to certain bits and it tells you to stop, and then you wait to go in. And there you go. Here, we're inside, well, Arkham Asylum. And as you can see, if you're not liking strobe lights or flashing lights or anything else like that, just be aware. Also, this really brings me to a great point, which is accessibility, and everything is accessible, and also it's great to see that the corridors are wide enough, so if you're bringing push chairs or you're coming in a wheelchair or anything else like that, it's nice and easy. Now this section celebrates the different villains. So we started off at the Asylum, which was all about the Joker. Here you've got the Riddler, which of course was played by Jim Carrey in one of the early movies, and as we go through, you've got different villains featured as well. So here we're at the Riddler's section, and in a second we're going to go into the area of Poison Ivy. And you can guess what's there. Yeah, ivy hanging from the ceiling, which you walk through as you go through this mirrored corridor. Right, let's talk about ticket prices and availability. So one of the things to be really aware of, because they limit the number of people coming in at any time, so it's not packed, which is a good thing, ticket availability can be a little bit more dodgy. So if you're coming to this, I would definitely recommend that you book it in advance. Now, when you're buying your tickets, the tickets are £27 each. Yep, you heard me right, £27 each. Which, to be quite honest, considering it's a DC Comics or anything else like Marvel or anything else like that, was not really unexpected. Yeah, it's going to be slightly more. Is it worth it? If you're a Batman fan, definitely. If you like the DC Comics and you really want to come and indulge yourself and look at some of the real props that were used. And by the way, this is the costume which was worn for the Penguin character, which is coming out very shortly. It was worn, as you can see there, by Colin Farrell, and it's also going to be in the brand new series called The Penguin, which is going to be available across the world very, very shortly. And here you've got the mask which was used by Bane, which is one of the other later Batman films as well. But if you're a big Batman film and you want to come and see some of the original things that were used in the movie, this is probably one you're going to want to come and see, because it is excellent. Time to get round. We did this, we took it slow, as you can see, as I was filming as well. So we took about an hour, but they reckon it's about 45 minutes to go round. So therefore you need to weigh up the pros and cons of the costs there as well. By the way, this is the Riddler's outfit as worn by Jim Carrey in the movie. And it's quite funny because you forget who played some of the villains. So this is Poison Ivy's outfit, which was played at the time by Uma Thurman. Yeah, remember her? Yeah, absolutely. So she was in here as a villain from 1997. And you also forget this, Mr. Freeze, was worn by Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah, pre-governor of California, I think. So I talked a bit about Adam West earlier, so you can probably guess that I am a Batman fan. I'm not a mad hysterical Batman fan, but I'm a Batman fan, I've seen all the movies. And one of my favourite movies, without doubt, had that costume in, worn by Heath Ledger. Yeah, it was the second of the Batman movies where Heath Ledger played the Joker. And of course, if you've watched those films as well, you'll know that that mask was the Scarecrow mask that was used in there as well, which is great. So what I also like is not just the pure Batman films, but it's sort of the spin-offs as well. So this costume was worn by Joaquin Phoenix in the first Joker film, and of course the second one comes out very shortly. So what with the Penguin coming out and the new Joker film coming out, it's a good place to come and advertise what's coming in the Batman series. Right, let's go back to a few more props. And it's really funny because a number of the props I looked at, I thought, I don't actually remember that, or vaguely remember it, like these shoes that you had down there with a knife hanging out of it. That's a penguin's umbrella, and lots of the calling cards as well. And how about that? An old cup of coffee with, yep, a question mark in it for the Riddler. So if you look at the volume of props you've got here from a few films, it just makes you wonder what they do with all of the props from all of the other Hollywood movies that are made. or waiting to come out in an exhibition at some point. So as we look around these final props here, this is one of my favourites, is that gold staff there, which was used by the Riddler. So Jim Carrey used that in the film that he was in. So we've seen various props, we've seen costumes, we've seen interactive areas, a bit of the things on the TV, and as you exit out there's a big area where you can sit and watch a sort of a small documentary. And of course they have this as a parting piece as well. This was the Batmobile in the 2022 The Batman movie, and they reckon this is valued somewhere between £2 and £3 million as well. Incredible. So when you come out, you're right by the middle of Covent Garden, right by the London Transport Museum. So if you're not sure what to do when you're in the Covent Garden area, I'll put our video to the 10 things that you can do in Covent Garden up in the top right hand corner. If you click on that, I'll see you in there.